So hi, I'm Miles. You might have seen me off the TV show The Traitors. I have in the past suffered with eating disorders and control over food and whatnot. So I'm here with first steps to discuss that.
My name is Daniel Magson. I'm the CEO of First Steps ED. I've got lived experience of bulimia, which lasted for over 10 years of my life. So welcome to First Steps ED's
Thank
office,
you.
and thank you for joining us as a patron for the charity.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
No, we really appreciate your openness and your willingness to talk about your experience and for supporting the charity.
Yeah.
So would you mind telling us a little bit about your experience and your journey?
Yeah, so it started out of nowhere, really. It was one of those situations that I didn't realise that was going to be a thing. So I was young, I was a gay guy in my late teens, early 20s. And I just kind of thought I needed to fit into a certain category. And by doing that, I needed to be slimmer, skinnier, very body conscious. I also moved out from home, so I was living on my own, so I could control what I was eating. I wasn't having my mum's cooked meals anymore, so I was able to take a bit of control, and that kind of then swayed into really one direction where I tried to push as far as I could go. But yeah, it's one of those things that kind of slipped in and crept in out of nowhere, really.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because my eating sort of very much started as it wasn't necessarily about my appearance or weight,
Right,
or maybe
okay.
even food. A lot of mine was to do with just my emotions, my struggle with my sexuality.
Yes.
My parents were sick at the time.
Yeah.
But it was actually only when I went to university that people then started commenting about how skinny I was.
Yeah.
And I never even considered it, but suddenly I was like, oh, wait.
Yeah.
For the first time, I'm being like, people are seeing me.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
not just like the person who's getting ignored or trying to hide all the time. Because I was always trying to hide because I was gay and I was in a small town in Yorkshire, so I didn't want to ever be identified.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of a sudden it was like I was noticed for being skinny, and I just and that suddenly became a new obsession of mine.
It's funny you say that, actually, because it happened when I kind of came out. So when I kind of came out and I was like, this is who I am, then I kind of got introduced to this world of like, these are my fellow peers.
Yeah.
And now I'm accepting myself as this is who I am. And like you say, the attention you get from looking a certain way to me then being slimmer, the slimmer me got a lot more attention. And so that kind of made me feel that this is how it's supposed to be. And then the thinner I got, the more attention you got.
Yeah.
So then it kind of just, like I say, fuels this situation. And then you become this person that you think, oh, this is what I need to then sustain this. And it's really hard. Yeah, a lot of men don't talk about their struggles with food. And I think it's really important to talk about.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, and I know so many people now and so many men who have struggled with eating, disordered eating difficulties, body image issues.
Yeah.
And, it's always been there. It's just, you had to live up to this idea of masculinity, didn't you? Right? You couldn't ever talk about anything.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think I had body dysmorphia. So I had body dysmorphia as well as eating habits. So I don't know, it's like chicken and the egg. I don't know which one came first.
Yeah.
I think maybe the body dysmorphia and how I was looking at myself was then fueling. Right, okay, to get to what body you need to have, this perfect body you wanted to achieve, you need to then control your food, you need to control what you're eating. And it took a massive toll, I had a massive toll on my other appearances, so like skin, my hair, everything was getting worse. But that was irrelevant, All I wanted to do was make sure I can get into an extra small. And I remember actually getting into an extra small for New Year's Eve, actually. And I look back at those photos and I thought, oh my gosh, I should have never been, I'm 6'3". I should never be, the build and the body that I have, I should never be an extra small.
Yeah.
And actually buttoning it up, I thought I would feel this like amazing feeling. The happiness I thought I was going to have and feel wasn't there. And trying to get to the point of where I thought I wanted to be actually didn't give me the happiness I thought I was going to want,
Yeah, and actually, you maybe reminded me of something that I actually totally blocked out my own memory. Really, that when I was at university, every moment was captured. Like I had just come out of MySpace era when I went to university, and Facebook had just come in.
Yeah.
And so there's always photos of every night out there, every album. Had every night out an album.
I was there. It was a time. A time was had.
But yeah, I'd look back at those photos, and I'd always be like, oh, look how thin I look in that. I'd always have like the tightest V-neck top or whatever. It was an era, right? And that's what I used to look back at. But when I started going through recovery, I had a moment, and it's because I was probably quite scared of recovery at the time.
Yeah.
Where I suddenly looked back at all these photos, and I could just see a really sad version of myself.
Yeah.
And I found it so difficult that I just deleted all of those social media accounts. So like my photo history starts like way beyond university. In some ways it's a bit of a shame because I feel like I've lost like a big part of my life. But at the time I remember seeing these photos and like it just switched in my head, and I was like, oh, I'm seeing a different version of me that I don't like. And
I think problem with social media as well is that like you say, it captures every moment, and at those moments whenever we take a group photo, we all do it. We all look at ourselves. We care about less than 20 other people in the photo. I look at myself, and then I just analyze like, oh, you rolled over. You can see a roll here. You can see a bit of back fat there, and your face doesn't look slim. And then you've got this kind of idea of what other people look like and what I need to do to get to that point. But I think what I've and this kind of came with age and kind of understanding on my own body, that I'm just not supposed to be a certain body type, and that is okay. And I think having that understanding, which took a long time. I mean, I didn't have any professional recovery because, to be honest, I didn't think at the time, one, I had an eating disorder, and two, there was any help. And actually, me going into a relationship with someone just accepting me, being a bit more content, and taking out the noise, kind of like I say, slowing down with the partying because and then I wasn't on social media so much. That kind of helped put things into perspective.
Yeah,
my teeth in. So I was able to then kind of establish actually being skinny also is not what my partner wanted. We met that I was that size, but he didn't really care. And I think it's quite poignant when you go into the world of life, you know, like I'd left my parents' house, having the flat, you know, living my Carrie Bradshaw lifestyle, you know, I was like, this is me now.
Yeah.
But then no one really kind of educates you on how to make the right choices and the meals that you have, the things you need to do, this, that, and the other. So then I just took the reins and went in completely in the wrong direction, you know. So it's really nice to know that you guys are there to support that.
So we've talked quite a lot about your journey, and like many people's journey with food and eating and body image is a long journey and there's ups and downs. So what was the turning point for you, and when did you start to seek help or speak to others?
I remember actually struggling to sleep, and I was the reason why that was I was so thin that my hips were digging into the mattress, and I kind of thought, but once again, these are kind of things that happen behind closed doors. No one else sees it, you know. So whilst you're kind of getting all the noise, they're like, "Oh, you look amazing, you look great." These are the kind of things that happen behind closed doors. And I remember my parents being a bit like, "What's going on?" You know, we're concerned.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, it's fine, blah blah." And then I went to my GP for something else actually, and he's been my GP for years, and he was very much like, "You know, if you don't get this sorted, we'll have to get you to anorexic camp or something like that." And it freaked me out because I was like, oh my gosh. So then I ended up doing the opposite thing, when you kind of wear the baggier stuff to hide how slim I was at the time, because I'm like, I'm fine now, you know, I'm fixed, I'm wearing baggy jeans. And so I kind of had a look at myself and being like, what am I doing here? What am I even trying to achieve? Because I've achieved the thing I wanted to get, which was to be an extra small. Now what? You know, like what's next? And it ended up just being a gradual like realization for me to kind of be like, actually, I'm not enjoying the life decisions I'm making right now. But I didn't know about any help out there, and like I said, the help that I had in my mind was going to be this kind of really intense. I'm going to have to go to somewhere and sit down and be force fed and be watched what I'm eating, and you know, we're said to kind of exercise and and so I wasn't quite sure. Where's the happy medium? You know, where'd you get the little bit of advice? Where'd you get the education? But also, I'm still in control about the things I want to do. Do you know what I mean? It was how I felt, it was either all or nothing. So yeah, I think, you know, having that education and that kind of gentle discussion with the likes of yourself and your team is really, really paramount, really.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. And you know, there's actually growing evidence at the moment that people from the LGBTQ plus community are at high risk of developing eating disorders. You know, which is so, to me, it really hits home, because a large part of my eating disorder was because I just, quite frankly, hated the fact that I was gay. But then my partner, he's also experienced and lived with an eating disorder, and he came from it developed to him because of his body image, and basically he was told at some point that he was too big to be gay.
Yeah.
Outrageous. Not just somebody in the street. So I don't know why everyone thinks they're going to talk like that and comment on people's way. It drives me mad.
No. The thing is as well within our community is that everyone has a label. You're either a twink or you're a bear or you're a jock and this and the other. And that just fuels how you then need to fit into that category, because even though you might be sitting here thinking, I look like a bear, but I want to be a twink. Where does that leave you? You know, like where does that? How do I get those two to align? You know, and I think even though it's kind of said with a bit of tongue in cheek, and it's kind of like our lingo, our talk within the gay community, it also can be really damaging. And I think these are the kind of things that need to be worked on. Like I know there's a lot of work in just trying to get the gay community accepted in itself. You know, but within our own community, we do need to do a bit better and not be so judgmental of other people.
What are your views on creating, the world at the moment and having a safe space for children?
I think if I go the other way, so basically I had a few friends who their parents, even as we're adults now, especially in our 20s, would kind of critique what they're eating or their body size. And so now having my own kids, I'm very conscious of one, I talk to them about being kind, because they, I like to say that my kids get a lot of attention because they say, oh, they're really pretty, they're really this and the other. And I think that's really lovely, and I'm really glad for that. I don't want to stop people saying they're, gorgeous girls, but at the same time, I don't want that to be the force, or the driving force behind them thinking, oh, this is enough. Like you have to be kind, you have to be this, that, and the other person. Your personality needs to fit, right? But then on top of that, my eldest will sometimes she'll catch herself in the mirror and she's dancing, doing her dance routines and this, that, and the other. And she loves it. And, she's probably going to end up being on stage or something like that. And then that's fine. I want them to eat things that I wouldn't ordinarily eat. I mean, I don't eat kiwis, but they love kiwis, So it's silly things like that I try and make changes on myself. So I know that they have, one, the opportunity to have an open palate of their own, but they have a nice relationship with food. They are sisters. They are probably not going to be able to wear the same things as each other, and that is totally fine. It was kind of interesting knowing that I've gone through my eating body dysmorphia journey, knowing some people can say little buzzwords that can kind of stick with you. And so I'm just trying to make sure that I don't have that with my children, really.
But so thank you for being with us today. No, if you've watched this video and you resonate with any of the themes, or you're looking for support yourself, then please visit our website, which is firststepsed.co.uk. Through that, you can do a self-referral or be referred yourself. You can send an email or pick up the phone. There's many ways to get support. We have got tons of different pathways, which reflects our conversation around how it needs to be unique to you. Please do reach out to the charity and we're here to help you.